Any questions after our second day in pads?
Could you help me notice a little adjustment to the quarterback reps?
No, we're still look. We've got a plan. And today was yesterday. Bo ran with the ones. Zach with the twos. Today, Stiddy was with the ones. So no news to announce there. I know you're looking for it, but.
You talked about Baron Browning a little bit earlier. You like his leadership and what he's done. What have you seen out here since the pads have come off for him?
Well, he's a physical player, and I like guys that like football, and I feel like when I watch him play, he enjoys the game, and you see the same traits from Cooper on the other end, and look, a lot of it is a mental toughness. We're just getting started here when you really look at where we're at. But, developing your technique. We talked about pad level yesterday and relying on that, when it gets late into the season or late into games and you're playing a tough opponent and you're tired. I think it's so imperative that you develop that, not only that physical skill set, but that mental toughness.
Sean, just to clarify, will Zach get time with the ones?
We'll see. Yeah. But just like I said, there's nothing to announce.
What was your evaluation of the run game today?
We'll look at the tape. So there's different drills. When we're in 9-on-7, you see an offensive line, tight end, the runners, and then we allow obviously the safeties are extra, so you're not really blocking the perimeter. So it's much easier to really watch the film and see how the initial front does. But I thought there was some positives. I thought the runners did a good job as well, setting up some of the runs.
Sean, going back to the edge rushers, is that one of the positions when you're kind of creating that vision that you have to?
It's an important position in this defense. It's the defensive ends in the 4-3, and so. You're looking for guys that are physical enough to set an edge in the run game and yet give you pass rush and convert when it's a passing situation. So obviously it's a real important position for what we do defensively.
Coach, I know you see Brandon Jones when he gets healthy, but how nice is it to have a healthy Caden start?
Yeah, look, and he's not there yet, but it's nice to see him back on the field. It took a while. And so we just got to be real measured and smart with his acclimation back. But it's good to have him back out here.
I know you touched upon Jonas Griffin the other day, but how has he come back from his injury?
I would say pretty well. Both he and Tim, they're knocking the rust off. Jonas made a few plays today. There's been several during camp, and he's in the thick of that competition right now. So it's good to see him outside. I've seen a lot of him inside, and by no fault of his own, but he's someone that worked extremely hard to get back in this position.
When you have a little fight out there like you did, is that a positive?
It's a scuffle. Sometimes it doesn't bother me. In that case, I think we'll look at the film. I think, one player gets blocked pretty well and frustrated. And so I don't want discipline fouls, and we've all seen it. So we talked a little bit about it afterwards. But the guys are working hard.
The one-on-ones obviously are fun to watch just from an evaluative standpoint.
One-on-one.
Like receiver.
Okay. Yeah.
Like what from an evaluative standpoint can you really get?
Well, you can see leverage, you can see technique. I think that obviously it's a little slanted to the offense because there's no pass rush, but it allows the corner to play bump, it allows him to play off, it allows the receiver to work on his releases, and we typically do it for an 8-minute period, or you're not seeing 12 minutes of it, and it usually goes on while we're doing 9-on-7. So 10 minutes would be the most. Gradually, you'll see us work that same drill from the 10-yard line in. We'll move it around, but ultimately in this league, you're going to get press man or you're going to get off man. We're going to get man-to-man coverage, and we're going to have to play man-to-man. So I think it's really good relative to the technique of both those players.
Coach, how does an offensive in general minimize batted balls and line scrimmage? Quarterback, offensive line.
I think that it's a great question. Sometimes it's quarterback driven, and I don't want to say it's height driven because there's been some bigger quarterbacks that were more prone, maybe a longer release. Sometimes, and I heard Zach say it today, if you're blocking someone and winning on a pass protection, then all of a sudden you feel his eyes now, periph through to the QB to anticipate. And so there's some techniques you can work on to try to keep him from getting in the air. But I was more encouraged, not discouraged, encouraged in that, that there's some savviness that's involved there to do it defensively, and that was encouraging.
How does Tim Patrick look over the last games?
Good. He had a few good snaps today. I think he's continued to gain confidence, just like we were talking earlier. And I've seen some really good things. And then, there's a whole other side of what he brings too. He's competitive, he's tough, he's one of the leaders in that room. And again, just like Jonas, we just got to make sure that, we build to where he's at and understand it's been a while.
How do you feel about your depth at receiver? You got a lot of guys.
I like the depth at receiver. I've said that, I think, from day one. Like the young guys we drafted. I like the guys we have returning. That's going to be pretty tough competition if you guys all do the math and look at the numbers. There's a lot of guys out there competing for jobs, and I like the size of the position group as well.
Back to the pass rushers. What's your vision for Thomas and Kuhn?
Well, this preseason and this preseason and these games and these practices are going to be real important. And then, is there a vision in the kicking game? All of those things. It's his second year, so he's still considered a young developmental player. But I think this will be an important camp.
On kickoffs, you had that drill today where you're working
Cover drill.
Side, yeah. Is when you have so you're working on coverage, so obviously you want everybody to field it, but is part of it going to be coaching some players to know, okay, this is a kick you let go and take the full 30 yards if it's coming down?
Well, there's going to be a lot of decision making for the returners in that, whether it's going deep, I think there's going to be more. We worked on a drill yesterday, decisions near the sideline where you potentially straddle, put your 1 foot out of bounds and field the kick and get it to the 40. I think, so I think it's going to fall on the returners. The decision making in the football IQ, I think, is going to go up with those two spots because, I referenced, middle infielders the other day. I mean, you're going to see different types of kicks, and you're going to have to make decisions on the fly and then go with it. And so in that drill, there were, that we eliminated any decisions. We're returning them, but certainly if we get a kick into the end zone, we'll be comfortable with the 30-yard line.
With JFM, Benito,
JFM had a personal death in the family, so he'll be back soon. And Benito is just getting through some back issues that kind of hampered him the last day and a half. I think we'll see him sooner, probably tomorrow. That's it with those two.
Coach, with JFM out, saw some more Blackson. What do you think?
Yeah, look, he's getting the reps, he's getting the work, the experience. I think it's good. I mean, we're looking at every one of these players, and you guys know during the season you're gonna lose players periodically, and you're gonna count on the depth, and so. But overall, I think he's shown some flashes, and I'm glad we have him.
Saw Forsythe at center today. Because you have competitions up the gut there, center and quarterback, might it take a minute for your offense to come together?
I don't anticipate that. I mean, I expect us to be ready to play when the season starts, and just because you're playing a new center or the quarterback certainly draws more attention, and that's going to be important. But look, the single best thing we can do to help the quarterback is play good defense and be able to run the football. Now, those are the two best allies for good quarterback play. And it's tough to play that position if you're struggling on defense and you can't run the ball. So, but I listen, we'll be ready when the start of the season comes.
When you guys talk about quarterbacks, is more of the conversation about how one compares to the other, or is it more about sort of each guy, individually and where? Each
guy individually right now. I mean, what are they doing well? What are we seeing consistently? And then, as you get further down the road, then you get into a more tailored approach, right? Like, you begin to look specifically once that decision's made, then you get into a little bit more tailored approach, and I think that's the approach we've always tried to take. We lost Breeze week 2 one year, and Teddy Bridgewater came in and won 5 in a row for us, but the approach was tailored differently for Teddy and we've done the same thing in years past with Taysom and other players, so we'll take that same approach here.